I don't know if I can explain simply. I mean, there are several ways. So there is, first of all, to recognize the actual words. So in order to recognize the signal, so you need first to take whatever comes from the microphone, there's a signal, you recognize maybe words from that. And then you have to recognize the meaning of the word. This is called natural language. So the first part is very old. I mean, we are doing that for the past 60 years or so, right? So we can recognize words. And then the second part, the natural language part, is the most difficult part. Because from the words, you need to understand the meaning. So there are really two pieces in speech recognition, in what we call speech recognition, like Siri. But now, and for the past, I would say 10 years, so pretty recently, there is a new method that is not based on signal processing. So it's not only the signal and the natural language, but it's going to be both at the same time. And to do that, it's by example. So for instance, because of the internet, there is more and more data. So there is more and more people speaking. So by example, we can compare what has been said and how it was transcribed, and then we can know what people said. So it's a new method that is called deep learning or machine learning. So this is more and more used. Before that, it was more statistical, with the two methods that I was talking about. The new way is really to do it with a lot of data and to try to match what was said before, and using the natural language, the machine learning to do the natural language. The reality is that there is no way with the current techniques, whatever they are. What we call artificial intelligence today, dates back from the 50s, right, 1956. So there is, with those methods, absolutely no way to pass, a Turing test or to do something as intelligent as what a human would do. Okay, because this artificial intelligence that we're talking about, it's only mathematics, logic, statistics. So with that, you cannot pass a Turing test. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what is an artificial intelligence, right? So, when you are talking about inclusive, you are saying that can be used by more people, but this is exactly the issue. The issue is that the artificial intelligence today is meant for very specific domains. So you are going to be able to create something that in one specific domain that is going to be pretty good, right? But to create something that is going to be as good as a human in a lot of domains, this is why it becomes very, very complicated. So more inclusive, if it means that it can talk and work with everybody, whatever their handicap can be or whatever their interest can be, not possible. But what I would do, what I would focus on, is to try for very specific population, for very specific subjects or domains, to create an artificial intelligence for that. Why? Because artificial intelligence, the way we use it today, as I said, it's only mathematics, right? So the mathematics in this case is just a tool. This is something to augment ourselves. So this is augmenting our intelligence. So it allows you, basically, it allows us to, to do the task that we don't want to do. It allows us to delegate some stuff that is the easy stuff, or the stuff that is very easily automated, right? So this is why I'm saying that it's artificial, augmented, intelligence, because it augments our intelligence. NLP. So, NLP, obviously, is only about natural language, right? So it's about the conversation. So what is going to be very interesting is to be able to capture the dialogue with another person, right? So when you think about that, where do you have shortage of people to do something, right? So in this case, I don't have, for instance, enough medical doctors, right? So maybe to have an NLP, NLU that is going to replace at the beginning of a conversation a medical doctor is going to be interesting because it's going to be able to sort, to do the triage the whatever is happening to you, and you cannot talk to a real doctor. You are going to talk, to a AI doctor in order to do the triage, to go to the right place in order to be treated, right? So that is interesting. Another place is to learn languages, for instance, or even to read, to learn how to read. The issue in the schools is always that you don't have enough one-on-one time with a teacher, right, in order to have a dialogue. So here with a natural language, you could talk to the machine and practice your English, practice your German or whatever, with the machine. And you can do the same thing, reading aloud. So the issue is always, when you have shortage of people. We are already human connected. I mean, when you see, what we are already wearing a lot of stuff. There are people that are actually wearing something inside, So there are some devices that are already implanted. So the future of IoT is actually, I have a definition actually of that. This is called intelligence of things. So instead of Internet of Things, like we have today, basically where we just connect the stuff. Now, we are going to move to something that I call interoperability of things, where the things that are connected are going to start to talk to each other in order to give me a service, right? And then we are going to move to intelligence of things, or where because the objects are talking to each other and they are talking to me, then they can really render a very good service to me. So we are going towards this interconnected world where a lot of the devices and the humans are working together in order to perform some tasks. And this intelligence of things, we are not there yet, but for instance in my home, I have a lot of objects that are connected. The objects are not connected to themselves. Today most of the Internet of Things, most of the IoT is just connected to the Internet and just perform a task that is specific to the object. In my home, the objects are connected to each other and they work with each other in order to render a service to me. So this is where we are going. So this is the main issue. The main issue is that today everybody is creating their own infrastructure, is creating their own island, basically. Like, if you talk about Apple HomeKit, or if you talk about SmartThings for Samsung, everything is separate and doesn't talk to each other. So I'm sure that in the future, because we humans want to, we'll have all those islands talking to each other, and we'll have to connect those islands in order to be able to have all the objects talking to each other. At the end of the day, I don't think it will go through a standard, because I don't believe in standards, but I believe that end of the day, all the objects will have to connect to each other in order to render the best services for us. So for me, there are at least two, and there are three actually, domains where I think that AI is going to be very powerful, and we are just at the beginning. The very first one is around health. Everything that is, well-being and health. Those objects that are connected, those algorithms that are going to, find out what is wrong or something like that, they are going to be better and better, and they are going to give us more power in terms of health. Okay, so we are going to understand us better. We are going to detect, problems earlier. So all that is obvious to me that all the medical field, the wellness field, is going to help a lot by AI. So that's one. Second one is transportation. We are talking a lot about autonomous cars. I don't believe that there will be any autonomous cars anytime soon. In terms of autonomous level 5, that we call level 5, which is autonomous in any case, anything. We are going to have a lot of autonomous cars that are going to be level 3, level 4, that are going to be very good, that are going to save lives. And inside those vehicles, there is a lot of AI. Because you need perception, you want to understand the world, you need planning to go to understand what you are going to do according to the obstacles or whatever. So there is a lot of AI there. So there is a lot of work to do in order to get to those vehicles that are going to be level 4. And the last part is IoT, actually. So IoT, in order to go towards this intelligence of things that I was talking about, the main thing is the intelligence. So once the objects are talking to each other, they need to make sense of the world. It's a little bit the NLP, but NLP of the world. Okay, so it's not only the natural language of humans, but it's the natural language of the world. So those things, they are going to work together in order to understand the world and to render the best services for me. Because of Place de l'Étoile in Paris. I mean, you put a vehicle that is going to follow the rules there, because by definition the vehicle will have to follow the rules, it won't move an inch at 6 p.m. It's just impossible. It's something else. You need to program something else there. So you can tell me, okay, we can program something else if we want. Oh yes, but then you bring the same vehicle to Bangalore in India. Good luck. And then you bring it to another city anywhere with some other kind of rules. So there will be always something that is not going to apply in the place you are going to put this thing. So that's why I'm saying fully autonomous in any circumstances, which is the definition of level 5, never. Level 4, which is a lot of assistance for the user, where the user won't have even to touch the wheel, but the thing will drive in most of the conditions, by itself. Yes, that will happen. But level 5, never. With the current techniques that we are using, that are machine learning and deep learning, because they are based on examples, on samples that they already saw before, if there is something that they didn't see before, the machines cannot invent the new situation or react to a new situation that they never saw before. So this is the main issue. Us humans, when there is a new situation that we never expected, that we never saw before, we adapt. We do something about it. The machine, they cannot do something about it. I mean, the best thing they are going to do is stop. And this is exactly the issue of Place de l'Étoile, because there is so many things that are happening on the Place de l'Étoile that the car cannot handle it. I mean, the ideal city for me is a little bit like my ideal home, right? So this is my home today, as I was saying before, is all automated, and I have 200 and something objects, that are talking to me and that are rendering services to me. The ideal city is just an extension of that. So it should be something where, things are happening because, it's going to give me a service of some sort, right? So this is the ideal city. Of course, it has to be safe as well. So everything that is going to be about traffic today, and one of the issues is that you have 3 types, or maybe more now, but 3 types of vehicles, in the cities, or 3 types of people. You have people, pedestrians, you have bike or whatever, and you have cars. And don't even talk about the scooters, right? But it's very difficult because all of them they have their own pace, their own thing, and it's complicated. So creating silos might be the solution, so it could be something that we can think about. This is what we try to do, with the bus lanes or something like that, or taxi lanes and so on. But, I mean, we see also that, people are going in those things. So it's not easy. And if you succeed to do something that is very strict, it's called a train, right? So, but the ideal city would be a city that is safe, where people are not going to, kill each other between those 3 types, and where you are going every time to get what you want when you need it. This is what the ideal city should be. But it's not going to be easy.